Hello, Car friends. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again, it's time for another Orc Mode workout. And today was max effort upper day. But just a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. Reach down there and do that. Thank you so much. And that is a reminder. It's important because even one of my clients had said he actually clicks like when I remind him to do it, and he forgets otherwise. So, there we go. So we decided to use a football bar today. And actually, I've been planning on rotating it in. And it's funny, I think I had someone in the comments yesterday ask me, why don't you use your football bar for these if you're worried about overall shoulder health? And it's like, actually, I'd been planning on it, but I do appreciate the person recognizing that. So I went ahead and rotated it in today. And I think what I'm going to do is rotate on these floor presses between the straight bar and the football bar back and forth, just like I do that safety bar and cambered bar for the squats. This gives me some variation for my maxes, because some of my maxes aren't going to have as much variation. Like, I'm really trying to hammer the incline. Not a lot I can do for variation on that if I want to keep testing it, other than maybe add chains or something. And we might add chains. We might do that just to get a variation of it in for the maxing. But I need to keep continual maxes up on these things and be testing them and see them moving forward. These are training maxes, so they're not necessarily 100%. But I'm trying to just micro load up solid, challenging training maxes. So with this, and I don't think I've ever tried to do chains with a football bar on a floor press. Pretty sure this is my first time ever trying this. I could be wrong. Someone might call me a liar and say, oh, we found a video of you doing it. I don't remember it. So I don't think I've done it. So pretty much a PR then, because I've never done it before. The empty bar was a PR once I added the chains. So 295, pretty good, because I think my best so far with these chains on the straight bar was 305 the other day, and it was grindy, it was hard. So this is good, kind of getting a feel for it. And here's the thing. Shoulders feel great on it, and I know shoulders feel great on this because I've used it to rehab a client who had impingements in both shoulders. We did floor press with a football bar. So I also felt a tremendous amount of tricep. And the football bar tends to hit triceps a little bit hard anyways. It's known for that. It takes emphasis off the front delt and puts them onto the tricep. Okay. With the chains, I felt a ton of tricep. Then, as predicted, because I've learned to get into my groove on the incline, part of the incline has been, number one, I need to bring up the muscles of the incline. Number two, I had a horrific bar path on it because I haven't done incline in years and years with a 45-degree type angle. I had to get back in the groove. I'm back in that groove. I found my proper touch point. I found my proper bar path. So we got a PR. We hit 250. Nice and fast and clean. And I'm going to say it's close to a true PR, because a lot of people were like, oh, that looks smooth and fast. I don't know that I had much in the tank. Maybe 5 pounds. Maybe. But this is a PR. I'm figuring out how to get the bar even under control on incline, which means I'm just going to work the hell out of it. I'm going to get to a 300 incline with this 45. I'm going to get there this year, this coming year. Let me rephrase it. I'm going to get to a 315 on an incline. We are going to do it. I need the extra upper chest development. I need the chest development for my benching. Just like I need more tricep. I need both. Right? My triceps tend to limit my absolute strength because my lats pop me out of the bottom. But if I can get more chest, that'll help with the lockouts. And it'll help me get more power through the bottom, through the sticking point. Triceps are what I have to have in a lot, because I tend to frequently miss benches near the lockout. Right? I struggle to grind the lockouts. So a lot of this pressing, everything we're doing is going to be chest and triceps related. But everything I'm doing other than the incline is going to put a real heavy focus on the tricep. It's all going to be chest pressing. And I'm going to do a lot of chest pressing to make sure we get enough volume with the tricep focus. But you guys will see more of what I'm doing. And we'll get through the lifts as we go. Tens, everything was done with tens at 70%. Right? 3 by 10, 70%. 70% of those maxes. Now, for the chains on this one, because I use a little 1 pound set of spacers, just in case I miss the rep to keep the plates further away from the chains, I run a spacer in there that's about 1 pound. So I took that out, so instead of 28 pounds of total chain weight and rigging, it's 27. right? So we took a pound off, and that's good because I mean, again, we're reducing the bar weight to 70%, and this is actually 1 pound under 70 because again, I've got all that chain on, and so the chain weight doesn't offsets it a little bit, and these were nice and challenging. Final set, these started getting hard. Now here's the difference I'm going to notice. I felt a lot of pec, but I felt a lot of tricep also, and a lot of times when I'm doing my rep work, I don't always feel much tricep. Like I don't feel it as much on the incline other than the long head of the tricep. I felt a lot of medial head, a lot of lateral head. They were hurting at the end of these sets. And the other thing I'm noticing, I'm going back over to tens with some of this stuff, tens don't beat me up. You know, in all honesty, it almost feels like lazy training, even though my percentages are still at the same technical intensity rate relative to the reps of when I do fives. Fives at 80% feel harder. I get a deeper burn and a pump with the tens at 70. The fives feel harder and they make me feel like I got hit by a hammer afterwards sometimes, especially after maxing. I'm noticing when I'm messing with more of this high rep stuff like I did with the squats on Tuesday, the tens with squats, they're challenging when you do them. They get a tremendous pump. And on the lower body lifts, I mean, you're getting a little bit out of breath. But they don't beat you up the same afterwards. So I'm going to run a phase again of the rep work on everything. I'm doing maxes on, training maxes on up to 8 maxes a week. 4 upper and 4 lower body lifts. I'm getting a ton of tension. Right? Everything else really at this point just needs to be hypertrophy, movement pattern. Now we can get hypertrophy from 3s, 5, 10s, whatever. I do feel like the 10s are easy to recover from. And I've got good enough conditioning with all the cardio and stuff, because I've actually been bringing that up, something I haven't mentioned in the vlogs. I've been incorporating lists again since I've been on the vertical diet. I've been slowly adding it back in, but I'm not trying to cut with it. That's the difference. I always tell guys a list is terrible for cutting. Adding list cardio when you cut will absolutely cost you muscle mass. It will cost you muscle. It's dumb. Adding lists when you're on a lot of calories, it's nice. It can offset some of the health concerns of eating a lot. Helps with recovery. It's actually a good place to add in lists. You don't want to go super overboard with it. You know, you can do 30 minutes a day. And it just helps with energy turnover, helps with recovery. Plus I do my GPP conditioning work. So the 10s aren't that bad, but notice these 10s looked good on the inclines. I'm getting pauses. They were hard though. The last rep was really a challenging rep. So I felt like I could have maybe at most squeezed out one more rep, and at least on the last set, I did not have another rep. I knew based on how the last one felt when I paused it and drove it up, struggling to stay in the bar path, probably another rep would have missed. I would have missed right in the middle. So again, we're right where we want to be, but we know we are because we have training maxes to program off of. So we don't have to do RPE and guesswork. We know how to get our effective reps and our quality reps. We can program for it. One reason it's important to max out often, we can program everything around those maxes. You can program your rows off your bench. You can program your good mornings off your squats. Okay? We can program everything off of those maxes. That's why it's important to max out. And I get really annoyed at the people who say, oh, it's not worth it. I'm in my 40s and I max out on 8 lifts a week. Not worth it. What are you afraid of? Getting strong? You afraid of having good numbers to program off of? What are you afraid of? It's not dangerous. So what do? Dips. Dips is a finisher. After I've done all this other pressing, 6 sets of 10 between 2 different other presses, I'm fatigued. So at this point, it's not even about percentages. It's like, let's just go in and get some hard pump work. Only as a final exercise. We wouldn't want to do that. We want to worry about effective reps and tension on our main lifts. So I'm just coming in doing that. Now some people will say, oh, you're not lucking out. I can't luck out at that angle. First off, my elbows, when my elbows lock, they don't look like what yours look like, some of you guys who can hyperextend. It's just my bone structure. Also, when I'm in that position, because my arms are back behind me, I can't. The only way I could lock my elbows on a dip is, because notice even when I'm over here, look at my elbow, that is locked. See the bend? That's as far as I can go. But I can't get back to that unless I'm perfectly upright, a full upright, and I'm trying to get pecs and triceps both. And me having just a little bit of forward lean hits both. Lights up my pec. My chest gets a tremendous pump. The lateral head of my tricep gets lit up. And that's the beauty of it. I'm doing 3 different presses to kind of emphasize a little bit different parts of the chest and the tricep to make me better at benching and increase strength. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense with what we're doing. What do we mean? The floor press hammers the medial head, especially with the chains. Now, I feel the lateral with that other bar both. Dips hit the lateral head pretty hard for me. At least I feel it. I feel the long head of my tricep a lot on the incline. So we're using a big movement to really, all these people will do all these different smaller movements trying to hit the different heads. Different chest positions and shoulder positions on your chest pressing affects the triceps differently. Okay, the same thing you're doing can be done with them. The same thing you're trying to achieve with the small movements can be done with a chest press. People lose sight of that because you're just changing the angle that puts the shoulder angle in a different position, that puts different tension on it. Okay, matters a lot. Same thing with the chest. Floor press hits the whole chest pretty dang well. It actually seems to hit based on some EMG if we go off that, and I'm sometimes skeptical of EMG. Don't take it as gospel. Seems to hit the upper chest harder than the flat bench. Quite a bit harder. Incline, we know, hammers the upper chest, but it works the lower chest. Dips hammer the lower chest harder than most bench press variations do. It still works the upper chest. Okay. Need to build the pecs top to bottom, particularly that upper chest needs to come up, and I need those triceps bigger all the way around. Those lifts handle it for me. And I was going to consider doing chain close grip today, but I'm like, you know what? I can do that when I want a little more specificity. When I'm getting ready to start benching again, when I ride out all this floor pressing and get as strong as I can on floor pressing, doing some rep work for that last movement with a close grip bench with chains will let me get right back into my setup. That would be a good time to add it back in. The dips really do a lot. I mean, if I really want a tricep dominant press, it gets me hit chest and triceps both. The dips. And then people say, is that enough for triceps? Well, I'm doing band press downs on the same day afterwards. So throughout the day, I'll do like 3 sets of high rep band press downs to failure. Again, make sure the tendons are healthy, make sure that work capacity is high, make sure the triceps are totally worked. Then we did those chest supported rows, which I'm liking, and I added 5 pounds to them today. I went up 5 pounds. I'm going to try to keep adding 5 pounds and try to get sets of 10. They're challenging, but they're not full sets to failure. So I feel like as I get the movement pattern back down, I can add weight progressively. Because I've pulled out overhead pressing for now, I'll discuss more why in a bit. I don't feel that I need overhead pressing. The incline does everything I need from it. My shoulder health is doing better and better and better. My shoulder feels better than it's felt in a long time. The inflammation even has gone back down that some of the lifts were causing now that the injury's healed. And overhead press seems to sometimes bother it a little bit. It still feels good after having only done that overhead pressing the other day and taking other stuff out that bothers it. But I'm like, why bother? I can get everything I need from the incline for now. The incline will build my overhead. If I want to go in and overhead press, if I get my incline to 300 pounds, that steep incline, realistically, I'm still going to have a stupidly strong overhead press. Easily. So, but we're doing a lot of pushing. That's 8 total work sets, not counting the maxes for the chest pressing. I need a little more volume, especially now that I'm only maxing on deadlifts and I've cut the rep work out on deadlifts on lower days. My lats and everything else need a little bit more pulling. So if we were going to say, why the 5 sets of incline rows? Because I needed about 8 sets. I just want to make sure I'm equaling the volume, and I need that rear delt to come up. My lats are getting good stimulation from all this. I need to make sure my rear delts are getting a lot of work. I'm not doing overhead pressing and stuff like that. I need the shoulders to be healthy. So these wider grip incline rows hit my rear delts, infraspinatus, and everything very, very hard. Tremendous pump in them there. And it's not just pump biomechanically, we know that happens. It's great for shoulder health overall. This is a good shoulder health exercise for really stabilizing everything, building some of the rotators up, building the rear delts, in addition to being lats and traps and everything else. But a lot of rowing. I'm going to need to get tons and tons of rowing in. And the reps are getting a little high here. 15 is probably higher than is ideal. I did 5 sets of 15. The last one, it was pretty much a limit set. So what do we do about that? I don't want to start raising my feet because I like the fact that this is a different shoulder angle than the other row is. It's quite a few degrees difference. I need that variation. It's like we had the variation on chest. So I don't want to start elevating my feet. I might just start putting small plates on my chest. You know, drop a 10-pounder on my chest. If I need to bring the reps back down, that'll make it harder. Especially if it's up on the chest and not lower down, right? Because of the angles involved, the weight will count more there. So put it right up on top of the pecs, not on the stomach. And that will give me the tension to get the reps back down. But I'm getting back into the groove on these, and probably going to throw in a lot of muscle memory. I'm going to see probably some old muscle growth from this lift come back very quickly in those areas. And then I can start progressively adding the tension. But I'm going to focus heavily on the tension on the row, the chest supported row. Right, get the most tension there, and then just do this for good quality volume with challenging sets to make sure I'm keeping the overall volume high, and I'll try to just keep loading the weight heavier and heavier on the strict row, and then I get a good combination of the two. But I do want to get those reps down because I'm starting to get a little bit high for what I need to do. We're not going to benefit as much from getting up there. We want to be closer to 10 to 12 at most. Incline curls. Just took these to failure. I managed to get 14 reps on the last set to failure, which was surprising because the other two failed at 13. I guess I just got a little more aggressive, finished everything off. But after all that rowing, my biceps are pretty tired. They're pretty dang tired. And especially incline curls are difficult when you don't strict. Because notice I'm coming all the way down. There's no rest. Getting that stretch reflex. Which again, I'm doing because it's hitting a totally different angle than I've been hitting. It'd be helpful against bicep tears on the deadlift. And the incline curl is a good exercise, but I think it's a decent injury preventer. It's one of the exercises that can help with that potentially. And people have asked before, why do you against preacher curls? Because people have asked me, hey, could preacher curls do that? No, preacher curls can tear your bicep. I'm not a fan, and it has to do with the angles involved. Where the tension is placed at the angle is down at the bottom near the stretch because of the design of the preacher benches. It's an injury waiting to happen, and it inflames the tendon, which can hurt you later on deadlifts. You don't want inflamed bicep tendons. This gives a nice stretch that has a good training response that doesn't cause the same inflammation. So it's a good exercise, even for powerlifting purposes. But again, 3 sets to failure. Overall, really happy with today's workout. Nice little change of pace with the rep ranges. Getting stronger on the incline, which is one of the things that we need to see, that we want to see. It's important right now. Again, getting all the volume kind of sorted of where I need everything to be to balance with the lower body stuff, especially for the back. So good workout overall. I'm happy with it. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.